Hello, everyone, and welcome to SuttonsDaze. Here we talk about all things food preservation and preparedness because those are my passions and I want to share them with you. I hope that you enjoy your stay here and that you come back often. We have an action-packed month of May planned for you, okay? Today, though, we're going to talk about meat. Really, we're going to talk about meat. If you've been following the news at all, if you've been watching certain channels at all, then you know that prices are going up and they're going up hard and they're anticipated to keep going up. I didn't realize exactly to what extent until it hit me at home personally, which is normally how things happen, right? But we've been watching the news and we've been paying attention to what's going on. And I know for over a year now, when I listen to the news, I'm hearing things more about how they're making meat alternative options and how they're really pushing for this. And personally, that's not my cup of tea. I am a carnivore. I like my meat, and so does Phil. And so we would prefer that method of going. Now, the people that discuss it a lot and look into it a lot are saying that they're going to price us out of this and that a lot of the farms are getting out of what they're doing. And so it makes it more difficult to obtain meat at a good price. That's just a real cursory overlook at what's going on, okay? But it really hit home here at our place. We are fortunate enough to have the land needed in order to raise our own chickens, in order to have a layer flock so that we have our own eggs, and in order to raise our own pork. We love raising pork. It is really just so enjoyable. It's one of my favorite homesteading things. I like it, but I like it more than chickens, really. So we really, really like our pork. And we like being able to raise it for other people. That has always been fun. Is it a huge profit maker? No, not by any stretch. Not when you factor in the time and the preparedness that you have to do and the setup that you have to have, and then the feed. Now, this is where this kicks in. I talked about this briefly on Monday Night Live last week, I think. And it kind of hit us hard where we found out the pigs themselves are not going to cost us any more to get. We don't have a breeding pair. We're not set up for it right now. And with me not being in the home full time, it's not something that we can really pull off. So we purchase our piglets from a farm not far from us every single year. We get hold of them at the same time every year to order the ones that we want for spring. And then we immediately follow up and book our processor to make sure that it happens in a timely manner. This year, 2020, and everything that it involved has thrown the entire pig raising journey into a whole new level, seriously. So due to everything COVID related and the break in the supply chain and people becoming more self-sufficient, which I love, don't mistake me there. I love that people are becoming more self-sufficient, but the demand for piglets has gone up exponentially. It's crazy how many more people are wanting piglets. And so we contacted our breeder at the normal time. We normally get our piglets late April, beginning of May. We are now looking at getting them about 6 weeks later into June, okay? So when I found that out, I called the processor and I said, okay, I need to find out, because we have, hunting season here. And so the processors stop processing during hunting season so that they can take care of the venison that people bring in. So we have that window that closes there, right? We normally get them in right before that window. And they know us. They talk to us all the time. We use them for a whole bunch of other stuff too. So they're really great business that we work with. And I called and said, okay, what's the latest date that we can get in there? And she goes, I was just thinking about you. Because she goes, I cannot get you in before the first and second week in December. And instead of bringing them all in at once, I need you to split them up and bring half of them in the first week and half of them in the second week. Now, one, this is huge. That means that we have pigs in December. We never have pigs in December. One time we did. We swore we'd never do it again. We're doing it again. There's no choice. There's just absolutely no choice in the matter. The processors are booked. I'm hearing nightmares where processors are booked into 2023, okay? So I've already booked my piglets for 2022, and next I'm going to be booking my processing for 2022. But that wasn't even the kicker. That was not the one that just wow, this is going to get ugly. With all of that happening, I asked Phil to go to our feed store and check and see how much feed is increasing. And when he came home and told me, I had sticker shock so bad that I actually called them just to clarify what he was telling me. Okay. And our feed cost it has gone up about 40%. And she said, she gave us a warning. She goes, it's not done going up. Well, okay. So now this links into a whole bunch of stuff, right? If you've been following the grand solar minimum at all, you know that this is happening. It is a scientific fact. I urge you to go and look it up. I can't go into it a whole bunch here, but that is impacting our crops and how they're growing. It's creating weather events that are abnormal, which is impacting our crops and how they're growing. And while it's nice to say that you have grass-fed pigs, okay, it's not enough. It's not enough to feed the pigs just that. They really do need the supplement food. And we don't have the acreage to grass feed pigs. That's not even feasible. So we're looking at a 40% increase right off the top for raising our pigs. That is significant. I had to reach out to our customers and say, okay, this is what we're hitting. If you want to back out, I completely understand. But I needed to give you a heads up because I think this is going to get really bad. And I had to increase our price. And I was so terribly uncomfortable with this because I take pride in what we offer our customers. I take pride in the product that is delivered to them and how we handle the entire interaction, right? Never have I had to do something like this. And I had to make a significant, in my opinion, price increase. At the end of the day, we raised 12 pigs. One is for us, 11 are for other people. At the end of the day, 2 customers backed out completely and 1 backed out by half. So instead of getting a full, they're getting a half. So I now have 2.5 extra pigs. And I might have sold one of them. So I'm good there. And I'll figure it out. It'll all work out. If not, I'll have a lot of pork in my freezer this year. But there's nothing that can be done about it. And I'm not going to mess with the breeder and, adjust my number. So, but what this did for me is it gave me a hard wake-up call. While I've been hearing it, while I've been digesting it, while people have been warning us about this for quite some time now, it hit home and I went, wow, okay, this is something we need to pay attention to and something that I really think that you all need to pay attention to. If you are meat eaters, if you enjoy meat, we enjoy all different kinds of meat, then this is something you want to pay attention to and you want to figure out how to best get in front of this bus that is coming at us at epic speed. So in my mind, honestly, I don't normally see the prices that we see here until closer to the end of June. And the prices that we're seeing now, yeah, they're definitely normally the end of June prices. I don't normally see $2 chicken breast until June because that's when all the tourists come to our area and that's when all the barbecues happen and that kind of stuff, right? But now we're seeing that and it's expected to go much higher. Beef is expected to go much, much higher. Pork is much, much higher. I'm kicking myself for not getting in on some deals when I saw them a few months ago, but honestly, I didn't have the room for them. I've been working at emptying out my freezers to make room for, this season. Prices are going crazy. So I'm going to ask you to focus on picking up your meats. Meats are very important if you eat meats. And in order to cushion yourself against the inflation that is happening, against the inflation that's going to continue to happening, due to many, many different outside reasons. Okay. There's the weather and the crops and there's the demand and there's, the processing and the lack of people to handle all of this and the supply chain being broken and you name it. We, as people who raise a good chunk of what we eat, are going to be impacted by this financially pretty significantly. And thus the people that we service are going to end up being impacted financially. When you're buying things from out, from the store, those companies are being impacted financially. They're being impacted by, pardon me, they're being impacted by The supply chain not being able to get it to you. They're being impacted by the lack of workers. They're being impacted by the cost of feeding these animals. They're being impacted by all this too, and this all costs money. So where does that end up? That ends up here with us, with our pockets. What can you do about this? Well, you could stop eating as much meat, but personally, that's barely an option for me, at least not at this stage. At this stage of the game, I'm not willing to go there yet. If you don't eat a lot of meat anyway, or if you do meatless Mondays or that kind of thing, that's awesome. So you're already used to this and you know things that you can substitute for it. Beans, of course, are an obvious thing that you can substitute for protein. But in my mind, there's nothing better than a steak or ugly chicken or a nice roast. These are things that we enjoy and we like, and they sustain us and they're healthy. So finding a way to put these up to cushion against future expenses is huge. And our window to do this is limited. It is small. I'm actually anticipating, you're seeing prices raise right now pretty significantly where you are also. And so it's going to start getting really out of hand the farther into summer that we get. So if you can do anything now to buy it, even if you can't do anything with it right now, even if all you can do is bring it from the store and put it in the freezer, it's not a bad thing to do. Okay. And then you can work on canning it up. If you have not canned meat before, definitely check out some of my videos below. It's super simple. The end product is awesome. It's shelf stable. You don't have to rely on electricity. You can also, keep it frozen and use it as you go along. Just keep an eye out for freezer burn. Find ways to vacuum seal it and make it so that it lasts longer in your freezer. We have steaks in our freezer that have been in there for a year. They were vacuum sealed. They're perfectly good to eat. There's nothing wrong with them. There's no freezer burn. It's awesome. That extends the life of your freezer food. Then there's the canning the food. Huge, huge deal there. Okay. And always, there's always the option of cutting back. But right now, for my canning people, for my people that already can proteins, and for my people that are looking to get into it, now's the time to get stocked up on this. This is actually a little late. Okay. It's really important to start stocking up on that meat. Get it stockpiled for at least a year. Do what you can. Rearrange your budget. Rearranging your budget's not a bad thing. Okay. If you can buy it now at $1 so that in 6 months you don't have to spend $2, then you're saving money. Find a way to rearrange that budget. Is Netflix more important than what you're eating in 6 months? No, it's not. Okay. There's lots of stuff to do. Keep yourself entertained. There are ways to make it happen, ways to give and take and make concessions. If it's important to you, you will find a way to do it. And I'm urging you to find that way, because I don't see this getting any better anytime soon. I think I said that before, last fall. It's not going to get better. We're only looking at things potentially getting a little bit worse. Again, I'm not fear-mongering. I want you to be prepared. I want you to pay attention to the cycles and what is happening and try to find those good deals when you can. There are things in my freezer now that honestly I never thought about picking up. I found a really great deal at a local market on Jimmy Dean's sausage patties. Okay. There's nothing in them but sausage. It's awesome. And they're just a nice breakfast sausage patty. And they had a 10-pound box for $10. I bought 3. I divided one up into baggies. The other 2 are sitting in the freezer. It's kind of like what you get at the restaurants, right? So that to me is awesome, because I know I'll eat those for a few years. I don't want to can them because I don't like the texture, but I know that out of the freezer, they're still good. And if I go through and repackage them and vacuum seal them, I've definitely got a couple of years out of that. You can take a look at this and figure out what you have on your shelves, how long you think it will last you, and what you need to do to extend it. Start working towards it today. I implore you to start working towards it today. We are going to have issues with feeding our families. We are going to have issues with feeding our friends. We're going to have issues with what we pay to do so. So we need to be on our game. Now, I know not everybody can raise their own meat. I get that, okay? And I understand that not everybody wants to. You are looking at a reformed believer in the meat fairy. Seriously. I used to believe in the meat fairy. I didn't want to know how it got there. I just wanted to pick up that styrofoam package covered in plastic wrap and take it home, and I was good, okay? But I learned, and I actually enjoy what we do now. I respect it more. There's less waste because I know what was given up as part of it. But not everybody wants to do that. Not everybody wants to be part of that. But I do ask you to be part of the solution and making sure that you and yours are taken care of and covered, because this is not over and it's going to be a long time before it gets there. We need to start preparing to have enough meat and other things on our plates. Today I'm focusing on meat because I know that the cost has gone up almost 40% for how we raise our pigs. And I had to pass that on to my customers. I had a couple customers who couldn't take that. And I mean, it's still a really good price, okay? But they were like, no, I prefer not. Okay, I get it. I'll send you back your deposit. You're good. Seriously, no hard feelings. I understand. That is a significant price increase. I'm not the only one doing it. Your big producers are doing it. Us small people are not the only ones doing it. The only difference between us and them is that you know that what you're getting was not factory farmed, okay? And I do have an issue with factory farming, but I have more of an issue with not feeding my family. So they are making their case to switch us over so that we're not reliant on beef. They're really going after beef. And that we have substitutes in place. There's no substitute for beef. I love beef. And I'm sure there are some of you that love beef. And so in order to make sure that we are covered against any of these issues, it's time to can up some beef. Time to get it in some jars. Time to learn how to preserve it. I have a lot of you great people who have taken that leap and purchased a pressure canner. And now I'm going to encourage you to start filling those jars. I'll link a playlist down below of all of the meat canning videos that I've done. I'll link the National Center for Home Food Preservation so that you can read how to do it properly. If you're just starting, don't go all rebel. Do it the right way first and then figure it out, okay? You can create a lot of wonderful meals from canned meat. If you have a vacuum sealer, you have an automatic extension on how long your food lasts in the freezer. That is a wonderful thing also. I have had meat last a good long time in a freezer. I'm talking a year and a half to 2 years. If it's vacuum sealed and it stays that way, it's a great thing in the freezer. There's no harm, no foul. When the air gets to it is when you have a problem. So there are ways to curb this. There are ways to get in front of this to at least cushion yourself so that you're not having to pay those outrageous prices in a month or two, and you can still use the prices from today, because we're not done yet. Thanks for coming along for this chat. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I'll address them. I'd like to know, what are the prices where you are? Are you seeing a significant increase in price? What's stopping you from sticking that meat in jars? Let me know. Let me help you over the hump. Let's get through this together. Let's come out on the other end eating real meat and not that fake stuff they're trying to push us into. I hope that you have a spectacular day. Remember, if you like what we do here, please hit that like, subscribe, and share. Check us out on Instagram and Facebook. And until the next time, everyone, please be safe.